If you guys want to share the live stream as well, do that on your Facebook or whatever. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Are we live?
All right.
I think so.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the 8th episode of the Neon Podcast. I'm your host, and if you're watching on YouTube, the owner of this YouTube channel, Neiron Neon Penalba. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Once again, we have our guest Kemp on the webcam per usual, but we also have two other guests joining us today, Francis de Guzman and Janice Lee, and each of them will introduce yourselves. So, I'm gonna say your name. I don't know if asking your age is appropriate. So let's say
Good,
let's say if you can say either how old you are or how many years you've been a quote unquote adult. You know, air quotes with that.
That's solid.
How about
yeah.
how many years since college grad?
I don't know, dude.
I think that's a pretty solid measure.
I don't know if that's a
Or
year
how
for
many
us.
years since high school?
No,
All right, okay,
I'm
that's
2
fine.
years old.
Oh no.
Okay, so we'll do that. Either one of those. Out of school, you consider yourself adult or whatever your actual age is, and let's give what's the most exciting slash interesting thing you've done in the past month?
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm boring as fuck.
Same, bro.
I mean,
Put us on the spot.
it can be anything, dude. You can be like, yeah, dude, there was a shit I took last week that was fire, and it wasn't nice, but it was interesting.
That sounds awful.
Hey man, you
Interesting.
do you, fam. You do you.
It's like you went to Taco Bell and yeah.
Let's talk about our poops. How about that?
Oh my god. All right. So, we'll just go in order of ladies first. So, Janice.
Wait, I didn't hear what you just said. The last like 2 minutes.
All right. So your name, whatever age factor thing you want to use, and the most interesting thing you've done in the past like month or something.
I'll
Okay.
just go first. If Janice isn't ready.
Okay, I'll go now before my internet cuts out again.
Alright, good luck.
Alright, I am Janice and I am 26. Yes, I'm 26. And I went to see a Chance concert a week or two ago.
Nice.
Chance the Rapper.
Ah, nice.
Nice.
Wait, was that the one in OC? Or am I just thinking something else?
Let's just say your internet cut out. All right, Francis, your
Never
turn.
mind. Never mind.
It's all good.
Alright, get him, Prince.
Okay. Hey guys. I'm Francis. I've been adulting now for 2 years.
Whoa.
I'm
Nice
24
metric.
years old. And let's see. Most interesting thing have happened to me this past month. I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm pretty family oriented. So I guess the most exciting thing that happened to me was I found out my cousin is having his third child and their first daughter.
Oh,
So
Hey,
yeah, it's freaking
nice.
cool, man. And they chose me to be the godparent.
Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah.
congrats.
Awesome.
Congrats to all of you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm like
Awesome.
super excited. Yeah. So
When's the baby
that's the
due?
most interesting. I know,
congrats, man.
dude. I just aged like 5 years now just by hearing that. So yeah, 2 years old adulting.
All right, Kemp, go ahead.
Okay. Y'all should know me by now. If you guys watch the past episode, I'm 12 years old.
Shout out to your boy Ryan.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Ryan. Just kidding. I'm actually 20. And the most exciting thing I've done past, let's say, a month,
Yeah,
probably watched the No Game No Life movie.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I watched it with our boy Neiron here.
Wait,
Hi.
movie?
Yeah, No Game No Life movie. It was in.
Ooh.
If you haven't seen that, it's on my YouTube channel. I did an adventure video on that. All right, so what up? If you didn't already know me, I'm Neiron. Was good. I'm 22. My birthday was. Yeah, the most interesting thing that happened to me was my birthday last week, and I got myself a new
Hey.
monitor, so that's chill.
Hey,
144
happy birthday, bro.
nerds. Thanks, bro. I was debating whether to do a podcast on my birthday, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Treat yourself.
Hell yeah. All right, so now that we started this podcast, gonna get this ball rolling on what the fuck are we doing / what the hell is adulting, man. God damn, that thing is a terrifying topic to talk about for me. So, basically, we're going to start off, it's like, oh, we're going to talk about our current selves right now, and then we'll talk about what we were like in the past or what we reminisce about in the past, and, the future and all that other kind of stuff. Present, past, future, the three ghosts, was it Scrooge, whatever his name is? Yeah. So, basically, a question for everybody, and anyone can answer whatever order. What is it like to be an adult and or transition into being an adult? And we'll just start that off as a very broad question. Just jump in if you feel like it. If not, whatever.
Crap. All right. I guess I'll go first.
Who's my guest?
Adulting. Shoot. Okay. So I graduated college in 2016 from a community college, and I majored in nursing. I'm the Filipino stereotype. I made my parents proud. I did
Hey.
it. I'm a nurse.
Hey.
Hey!
I know that. I know that feel, but I didn't do that.
I mean, I majored in computers first, but I sucked at it. I sucked at coding, and I hated it. So I just stuck with nursing. Stuck with what I knew is either be a doctor, pharmacist, nurse. And you know what? Pharmacy and becoming a doctor is just too long, costs too much money. So it's just easier becoming a nurse.
Nice.
And adulting. So when did I consider myself to be an adult? The moment I applied for my job. I think that's when it hit me. I was like, crap, this is real.
Dude, oh man, I know that part.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. I mean,
like that.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know, man. It just hit me. I kind of broke down. I was like, I don't know what to do next.
Oh, no, I get you. Like, I can relate the same way. It's like, I just graduated school, right? And I got networked into this, like, really simple job. Or not say really simple, it's pretty easy. And I'm just like, dude, I have a job now. I've never actually had a real paying job in my life before because of certain circumstances. But, just having that job was it's like, oh my God, I'm an adult. I have work. I have a schedule to work with. And like other responsibilities and stuff on the side that I have to work around it, and it's just like, oh my God, I know that feeling. And that was just like a month, 2 months ago for me. So
Oh man, that's really new for you, bro.
yeah, that's why I'm just like, oh
my
shoot, dude.
God.
You've been working for 2 months now?
Yeah, dude, 2 months.
What the heck?
Dude, welcome, bro. Welcome. Nice.
Why so fast? I thought
A month and a half. Let me just check. I actually have since July 20 something. So yeah, 2 months, dude.
Yeah,
2 months.
A month and a half. Yeah.
yeah. I
Almost
feel
2
you.
months.
Like they I'm a nurse, so I graduated from school in 2016 of May. Passed my boards in September of 2016, but I didn't start working until March 2017.
No.
It took that long to find a job. It was crazy, and I think like they don't even consider you a nurse until you start working. So I've only been a nurse for 7 months, I think.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I feel you, man. Like today, oh my goodness, I can talk on forever, but I'll let someone else talk.
Kemp or Janice? Janice, are you even here?
Janice not alive. Feels bad, man.
Feels. No. All right, Kemp, just go.
She introduces herself and then.
That's it. That's all she gets, dude.
Janice.
Can you repeat the question?
So it's like, what is it like to be an adult in your situation, or if you don't consider yourself a full adult, the transition into being an adult?
For me, I thought it was like transitioning to be an adult when I started college, but
Hey, there you go. Like
the
each
more-
person to their own, dude.
yeah. Well, like I mean, like the more I was at college, like the less it felt like being an adult. If you get what I mean, yeah. Because you also lived away from home, right?
Yeah. So you mean like the feeling? It's like, it's like it's a new transition. You get the freedom. You're doing what you want on your schedule. You know,
Yeah,
technically,
like,
school is
yeah,
your
I
work,
just-
but the more you got
I
adjusted to
handle-
it, yeah.
Yeah, like I handle myself. I handle like all the money I spend, stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what it felt like being an adult for me.
That's a lot of pressure and responsibility. Holy crap.
Yeah. And then like now I'm back at home, so it's just like it feels like less of an adult thing. Probably when I get a job, it'll feel better.
Yeah, for sure. I think Peach might have to actually drop on the podcast this week due to technical issues, internet stuff.
It feels bad.
Yeah, I know. That honestly kind of sucks, but
What
that's
about Janice?
oh well. Janice, I don't know. Janice. I don't want to speak on her behalf because I don't know her that super well, but
Oh, she's trying. There she is. She's trying. She's adulting.
she's like, there you go. That's the entire podcast, dude. You're trying. That is adulting. Bam. Podcast done, dude. Holy.
I think Janice is the whole epitome of adulting. Like
Alright,
what she.
Janice.
That's the
Tenacity.
word.
Tenacity.
That's the.
That's actually really funny, dude. Oh my gosh. All right. So, speaking of trying,
That is her portion. You can go now.
you set the perfect
Oh, I'm
example
so
for
sorry.
all of
I'm
us.
so mean.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, tell me if she's talking because if she's like having technical issues and I can't hear, her, let me know. But for me, like adulting, in my like I know what you're talking about, Kemp. It's like you have your own freedom, but for me, I considered myself an adult. Um, probably at the end of not college, but my last year in college, my 4th year. The reason being is like, oh, now I start to get like start handling. I gotta handle business, right? It's like, oh, I gotta move out, gotta make sure I'm graduating, gotta get all these like, if I need to get any final forms done and stuff. Um, if I was gonna find a job and stuff like that, and that's when it hit me. And the reason why I think and consider that one the most, other than getting like formal paperwork done and transitioning back to a different place to live, is probably the relationships that happened because um there were some good and there were some bad relationships back in Berkeley that may have happened, and that's when it really hit me. It's like, all right, this is I when you look back at your life, you be like, oh yeah, at this moment is I knew when I grew like mentally and emotionally.
Oh, that sounds spicy
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, you're an intellectual.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. There was like my last year in college. I know I told some people this. My last year in college is probably the year I pissed the most people off. I'm sure I pissed off more people in that year alone than the other 3 years combined. Like, I'm not even kidding. So I'm just like, dude, honestly, if this is what it means to be adult, not everyone's not gonna be obviously everyone's not gonna be treated equally, regardless of how you really live life. And it's like, for me, that was the tipping, not tipping point, the turning point. It's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do me, whatever, you know what I mean? And then the transition of work and stuff, and it's like, oh crap, I actually have to work, and I'm on a schedule, and I'm getting paid to do something. So rather than me paying to go to school, fuck that. But that's a whole nother topic. But that's probably for me emotionally and mentally. That's probably when it hit. The last year,
I,
and then after moving back.
I think you hit it. Like the two most consistent things that people always talk about when they're adults or for the rest of their lives is career and relationships. I don't know if you guys get that, but there's this video from Wong Fu where
Hmm.
Philip Wing, he did a UCSD um, talk, or what do you call this?
The graduation speech?
No, not inauguration. Graduation speech. Not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
inauguration.
I
Come on
remember
now.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, but like he talked about that as like the only two things that people really care about. Doesn't matter how old you are, even when you're quote unquote adulting, is your career, how are you doing in your career, and how are you doing in your relationships? Like who are you with, who you know, like who you hang out with now. I don't know. But definitely those are the two things that I definitely see in my life that people only want to talk about is career and your relationships.
I mean,
So
I think that's really true to say. Like, sorry, I stepped in, but it's like,
no, no,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think now that I remember the video, it's like it's true. Those are such big things in your life that people gauge. It's like, oh, where are you at in your career? Are you starting? Are you moving up a corporate ladder or whatever? Are you starting your own business? How much money are you making? It's like the old saying, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it to a certain degree it does control your life, and that's how some people view it. Um, versus relationship. How much are you balancing your life of relationships versus work and all that other not materialistic, but the balance between it all. So I think that's a very interesting point to bring up. So yeah, dude,
wait, is Janice still here?
I have no
I
idea.
am here. I can hear. I heard most of what you just said.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
Okay,
think.
that's better than it
You're
was five
trying.
minutes ago. There you go. Your
You're
internet is
trying.
trying.
I
Your
feel like she just
internet
woke
is
up.
adulting, dude. All right,
Well done.
all right,
Well done.
Peach. Are you still Janice? You still here?
Yes.
All
You
right.
want to say something about this?
Yeah, dude.
What are you guys talking about? Like
Yeah.
what you define adulthood as?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what do you define adulthood as, or your transition being into adult? Either one.
I would define adulthood as taking responsibility for yourself.
There it is. Nice.
So, because it's so hard to quantify it with arbitrary measures like, whether you went to college or whether you've done certain things, because obviously there are adults who haven't gone to college.
Yeah.
I feel like adulthood is really just if you're able to take care of yourself as a person, as a human being, without being dependent on someone else. I think that's really what it is. So I would qualify myself as not a full adult yet,
Same.
but I also feel like I also feel like there's different parts to that. Like there's emotional adulthood, and then there's
True.
like physical adulthood, which is
Preach.
like what I just described.
Def. That's I.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty emotionally an adult now because I'm 26. Oh no, I'm breaking up again. Hold on.
Keep trying. Keep fighting through it. Persevere. Tenacity.
Tenacity.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Wait, okay, cool.
Tenacity. Just keep
So
going.
I feel like I'm emotionally an adult now because I think I communicate very well with everyone, which means that there's no drama ever, there's no misunderstandings, and I think that's another like core part of being an adult is when you're able to establish and maintain stable relationships, healthier relationships with people around you. Honestly, I feel like that part is harder sometimes than getting the physical part down because
Yeah.
anyone can go out and get a job. you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But just because you have a job doesn't mean you're mature.
True. Oh, I can agree with that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like you could be living on your own, balling, making lots of money, and still be really immature.
Yeah,
Sadly.
I think you said it. Like the keyword was communication.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend. He's like, I firmly believe that if everyone knew how to communicate with each other and speak in each other's channels in a way that we can all understand each other, then there would probably be world peace.
Oh, definitely. Like
Right.
literally, that's the only problem.
Just communication. Just
Yeah.
talk it out.
Yeah.
I think that holds a certain degree to it. Like I took an entire class about like how to communicate and how to educate others, and like that was one of the points. It's like being able to talk on their level, or
Mhm.
being able to compromise on a certain level to make sure everyone understands. And once you get either too detailed, too complicated, or something you say something that wasn't um like agreed upon to talk about, like you hit the wrong buttons when you're talking to a person, then it can all just
Right.
go downhill from there. I think that's a pretty good part of adulthood because I mean like I'm not saying it's necessarily an everyday situation, but it's like say you're in an interview, right? And you say like one thing
Right.
wrong, and then it's like you might not get that job, dude.
Man,
That's rough. So,
true. Oh my goodness. Oh my
so
God. How was your first job interview, Neiron?
um it was okay. It was over the phone and it was like pretty simple. It was a phone interview, but they were chill. They were like giving me scenarios and stuff, and but I was like, oh yeah, I've sort of dealt with this before, and I dealt with it okay because the reason why I think I did okay with that was I had I prepped with an adult beforehand. Like
There you
I
go.
had an advisor back in college. He was like, you know, very professional. He handled interview processes for his company for like 2 3 years now, and it's like he knows the interview process, like how to answer these questions, how to interact with your coworkers, and just like situations and stuff. I was like, dude, this guy is an
No,
example right there. I want to be him, but you know, for sure. Thanks for the like, guys, on the stream. But
Well,
so we talked about. Oh, Kemp, go ahead.
I think Janice was saying something well when you were starting
I know. I
your
was
whole
like, oh shoot,
interview thing.
Janice is trying to
Yeah.
say something.
Sorry, I didn't catch it. My bad. She here?
She's adulting. She's trying, guys.
Alright, yeah, well, continue then.
I mean, yeah, there's just so much in that communication can cover, but at the same time, like, you know, exactly what Janice said. It's like you since adulting is two parts, you really have to work at both halves of it, like what you want to do for your career versus relationships with people. I think that was a big part that you know you can have a job, but you can suck at being a people person.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. So I don't know. So now that we've more or less all defined more or less or talked about our transitions or how we define it, it's like how do you guys feel feel about where you are right now? Consider yourself an adult. It's like do you see yourself almost there? You just obviously like for probably like me and Kemp, we just started in comparison to you two versus anything else where you are emotionally, mentally, or just career wise. So where are you
Ooh.
in adulthood?
You can answer that, Kemp. You got it.
Oh, alright, well, I don't think, just like Neiron said, I just, quote, started, I guess. I've just been, like, looking for jobs, sending out applications everywhere. So, I don't think I could, like, actually call myself a real adult until I can, like, make my own living and then, maybe, like, not depend on my parents as much.
Definitely.
Oh, can you repeat that question? Sorry about that.
Well, yeah, no worries, dude. It's where do you like see yourself in terms of adulthood? You like just starting off, you're still taking steps where you're like, or you're still taking little baby steps, or you expect yourself to take like a big leap or big change in your life or whatever. So,
All right. For me personally, as a nurse, I feel pretty confident in my job and what I do. When it comes to like the financial stuff, like paying your bills, um, planning for retirement. Oh my
Oh
god,
man. So,
making investments, life. Oh my god, when I found out I had to sign up for life insurance, I was like, what the f am I doing? It's like, dude, I'm gonna die. um, yeah, just basically the whole business side of being an adult, like just being financially responsible for yourself. That's something definitely I had to work on. Luckily, I had the help of my dad, who's an accountant. So he just he said, do this, and you'll be good. But I still don't really know what I'm doing. um, and on top of that, I guess, and let me think. Responsibility wise, you know, I can tell you this is actually fresh. I called off from work yesterday because I wasn't feeling too well. I was kind of sick, and I forgot that I was working today.
oh,
oh
I
shoot.
I legit forgot I was working today. Like I had switched my shift with someone else, and legit forgot I was working today. So I wake up at 7. I get a phone call from my charge nurse, and she's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Holy crap! This is adulting." Oh my, even the responsibility. So where am I in a sense of responsibility? I can definitely tell you I'm working, but I'm not even close. Not even close. Making more mistakes than I've made in the past.
Hey man, that's
yeah,
at least they're mistakes you can
that's
learn from.
not. Yeah, yeah. People make mistakes. Shit happens.
Yeah. Is Janice here? I'm gonna ask this question like every time, dude. Is she talking?
True. Oh my
Yes.
God, you said it.
Oh my, wait, wait,
There it
wait,
is.
hold on. I can't hear. Crap.
Yeah.
Alright, go, go, go,
That
go, go.
was
Say it again. Oh, I
that
missed
was
it.
beautiful.
I said that I said I thought it's funny that he mentions making mistakes because I don't feel like becoming an adult means that you make less mistakes. It just
Ooh,
means that you
okay.
become comfortable with making them, and you also are better equipped to deal with to handle how to fix mistakes when you make them too.
There it is.
There it is.
Boom.
Damn, Janice is
She's
like, there it is. She's dishing out like the information right now, like preaching right now. Damn, so good, so good.
Janice, I'm trying to get to where you are, to be honest.
That's crazy. I think that's interesting. I think that's what it is. Because if you can compare yourself to, past or growing up, right? It's like the if I compare it to the standard like kid in the U.S., right? It's like, oh, you're going up in high school, you have more of a sense of being embarrassed, making an image of yourself, and it's like, if something goes wrong, and then everyone talks about it. Versus if you're an adult and something goes wrong, it's like, yeah, you'll own up to it, right? It's like some people are
Right.
more likely to take those mistakes and um take what's the word? What's the words I'm looking for? Own up to it, versus like as some kids might just like, what was it, shove it under the rug, hide it
Yeah,
under the
it's
rug.
like
Yeah,
you're
Right.
not afraid of them anymore.
Right.
You lose your fear of it.
yeah, dude. It's like you're adult. You do what you do, and if at this point, if they're constant mistakes, then obviously you should be an adult to be smart enough to
Yeah,
change these things.
deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it,
Yeah, man.
and deal with it. Kids, it's like, or especially for me, it's like kids. You make a mistake. Shit, I don't know what I'm doing. Like like immediate panic.
Find an adult to fix it.
Oh wait, I'm the one here.
It's like, wait, I'm the adult now.
Oh shoot.
Uh-oh.
Exactly. I think that was a really good point. I mean, what are some of the mistakes, if you have any, to as an example that you could put out for us today to talk about, if you feel comfortable with talking about
Yeah,
I already talked about mine. Shoot.
it.
I have a mistake. Okay, so this is funny because I've been interviewing these days because I'm looking for a job, and a question that people love to ask you is what is a huge like fallback that you've experienced, like a terrible thing that happened in your past like professional life. and how did you deal with it? So basically, they're asking you like, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made, and how did you fix it? Because they want to hire people who are adults who know how to deal with stuff like that. So I always talk about in my last job when I started working, I was the first hire for a tech startup, and I was the office manager. So basically, I was in charge of everything. And I had never been in that kind of role before, so I had no idea what to do. And my bosses basically gave me a bunch of projects, and because I was this new like office manager, I was like, oh, I don't want to ask them for help because then they're going to think I'm incompetent, so I'm going to do everything by myself, even though I didn't know how to do it.
Right.
So obviously that led to so many mistakes, and then I was really lucky. I had a really understanding boss, and he noticed and was like, hey Janice, I noticed you've been struggling. Do you need some help? And I was like, yes. So that was like a turning point for me, I guess, in my growing into adulthood, because it made me realize that, you're always going to make mistakes, but you just have to not be afraid of it. And it's better to kind of admit to it early on so that you can actually get help and fix things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what I got from that was that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, definitely. That was something
It's
I didn't
okay.
know before.
It's
So I was
okay.
like, oh, I'm an adult. Like, I got to take care of it myself. But that's not true.
Yeah, for me, I think I had something very similar in college. Like if I was struggling, like my first second year, actually my second year, yeah, it's probably when I struggled the most, and like I didn't wanna go to anyone for help. So eventually, it got to the point where I had to like go to someone for help.
Yeah, I think
It's funny because it really is part of growing up, learning how to ask for help
Yeah.
while still being independent.
Yep.
yeah, I think
That's
I think
why,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's why I respect those people. Like if they go to me asking for help, like even though I can't help much, like I'll tell them like yeah man, I'll lead you somewhere else. Maybe this guy can help you, so I can't help you. But like I respect those guys asking for help.
Yeah. For me, like I think that like you guys said, it was what's one of the biggest parts of adulting is understanding your situation, and it's not necessarily letting go of your pride, but understanding how your own personal values might it's about what's the word I'm looking for, compromising with yourself, not just like with other people but with yourself. It's like you need to compromise the fact that it's like, oh yeah, I'm struggling right now, I need to ask for help, you know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest parts of being an adult, like you all mentioned already. It's like it's so huge that life is such a big task in general, right? That you it's not good necessarily to take it alone. I'm sure some people can, and they're like people I would definitely have the utmost respect for if they're like reaching a successful life by themselves with minimal help, but I'm not that type of person, and I cannot see myself
Not a lot of
doing
people are.
yeah, exactly. It's like I can't see myself personally not going through life without getting help from like friends or family. I think that's such a huge thing to face in different people's situations, and that's just like reality. That's those are facts for me that I don't think I would be able to handle myself in certain situations, or you know what I mean, without asking for help. I think that's such an important thing that you all brought up. So yeah.
What I got from that was when you said to let go of our pride as adults.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like what Janice said. It's like learning how to ask for help. And as you guys were talking, it got me thinking. It sounds like we have to learn how to be a kid again.
In some ways, you kind of do, yeah.
Yeah, like you have to learn how to ask for help. You have to learn how to, if you don't know how to do something, just don't be afraid to ask someone. Or I don't know, like just to be fearless like a kid again.
Exactly. I feel like that's the quality of a child that leads them to do those kinds of things, like asking for help. It's like that fearlessness, because when you're a kid, you haven't failed yet, so you're not afraid of it. But as an adult, you faced failures,
Right.
and you might be afraid.
Definitely.
Right. And it's like you guys ever like think about how easy it was to make friends as a kid.
Yeah.
And as an adult, oh my god, it's
oh my
so
god,
much
dude.
harder. Especially once you graduate, like when you finish school.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Wait,
Like
I don't
It's
know.
like it's like
All
job is for a girl. It's
I
like,
don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to agree with this one.
right, Kemp. What's your rebuttal, dude? What's your rebuttal?
rebuttal.
Well, because okay. So I came from the Philippines when I was 7 years. I don't think I had the easiest time making friends when English wasn't my primary language.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
That makes
that's
more sense.
that I
that's a
think that's a
very
different situation in terms of like
situation.
an outsider coming into a new thing. I think that's
Yeah.
slightly
Like, that's
different.
another whole
Yeah,
nother
that's a whole
factor
other.
added
Yeah,
into it.
yeah, that's
Yo,
too
bro,
big.
I feel
But
you though.
But definitely now, I think it's super easy to make friends.
Oh, interesting,
You
interesting.
you want to know something really interesting that reminds me of? So I was a comm major in college, which by the way helped me so much once I
Nice.
graduated.
Hey.
Yeah, but one of the classes I took was on interpersonal relationships, and it focused on how humans develop through touch, like touching each other, like hugs, or just like having that kind of physical contact with other humans, and
Mhm.
it's actually really important for our psychological development. Like babies who aren't held often, they actually develop slower. So
Mm.
um, it's really interesting because we were studying how as you go through different phases of your life, the amount of touch you get varies. So you get like
Yeah.
the most touch when you're a child, and even into like your teens. But once you become a young adult, and especially if you're single, that you're like completely deprived because people, at that point we're old enough, we know we're not supposed to really like touch other people unless you're super comfortable with them. And like it gets a little
Right.
weird to be hugging your mom and dad all the time, which is not a thing when you're a child.
True.
So I feel like that's another factor that comes in when you graduate from college, and especially if you didn't go to school very close to home, so all of your college friends might not be near you.
Mm.
And when you move back home, and then you don't have that many friends to hang out with, so you are deprived of a lot of social sensations on top of the fact that you're now an adult and you have all these new responsibilities to deal with. So I feel like it makes it really scary once you finish school.
I think that's fair to say.
Dude, this is why I fist bump everyone when I see them.
Hey. That's chill.
Yeah.
I think this is a good transition into our second section of the podcast is reminiscing about the past, being a kid before we were all adults. So, you know, what just as a to break this topic into it, we already talked about a good chunk of it, but what do you wish that you don't have to worry that you worry about now that you didn't have to worry about as a kid?
Ooh.
It's like, paying bills would probably be an example, or cooking. I don't know. Some kids cook, if that's their thing, if that's their hobby. But it's like, what are some things you worry about now that you now realize you didn't worry about back then?
Finding a good
Everything.
Besides my job, besides money, besides.
Yeah, dude.
Literally
There's a lot.
everything.
There's a lot. But it's like, what are some things that you wouldn't say necessarily take for granted per se, but it wasn't in your mind at the time.
Oh my god, naps.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Hold on.
naps.
I still take naps now. To be fair.
Oh, you're lucky, man. I miss the days where my parents would tell me, "Hey, you need to take a nap," and I just want to slap my childhood self for like answering back and be like, "No, I
I
don't
know.
need to
We never
sleep."
wanted to nap. Like we were stupid.
We were stupid.
Oh my
But on the
gosh.
real, the one thing that I get a lot of pressure for, I guess, is well, professionally, I take care of lives, and
Mhm.
to me, it gets
Oh,
to me sometimes,
yeah.
And we I know we talk about mistakes, but I'm like, if I make one mistake, I can end a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like I have those days where I have to be fearless, but I also have to be like, it's like walking on a tightrope. I
Yeah.
have to find complete balance. And I guess when I was a kid, I missed having blessed, what is it, blessed ignorance.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have to worry about the evil in the world, or you didn't have to worry about everything. You just knew that things are going to be good. you know I don't
Yeah.
know, that's just my thing. I don't know.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like that's kind of like kids have like have like a certainty in their worldview,
Right.
like a sort of security just because they don't know better. But as an adult, you kind of know better, so everything is so much more scary to you.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's like more like when you're an adult, whatever you do can actually lead to something. Like when you're a kid,
Yeah.
you don't really think
Has
about
consequences
Yeah.
that. Yeah, consequences.
There you go.
that you have to clean up, not your mom or dad.
Yeah.
I think another thing that what you talked about is like some of the decisions that you made, or like I think it's these larger events that happen. We don't we think about it more as we're growing up because we're entering this world, and as a kid it's like, oh, I don't know what's gonna be happening after this. Cause, all right, for example, this, like I said, I don't want to get too political on this on any podcast, but it's like 9/11 happened, right? It's like I didn't know what that meant as a kid. It's like a lot of people died.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know the political and social implications, and now it's like, here I am, college, like, you know what the term is, being woke. It's like
Whoa.
being woke, fam. You know what I mean? These social implications, these political boundaries. Like I didn't have to worry about that as a kid. Right now it's like so big, Trump being our president. Back then it's like, oh yeah, George Bush, whatever, he sucks. But as a kid, we would say that, but like growing up in
Yeah.
elementary school, high and middle school, it's like, yeah, we're Obama, but like we didn't know what that meant. We said that to say that. I think that was a big thing
True.
for me that like I worry about now. It's like these things actually have real world implications, not just like personally, but like the greater image of the world we live in. That's how I see things.
Yeah, I agree. I thought of something that, as an answer to your question for this segment. I really miss having summer and winter break.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that just got real. That
Because-
honestly just got real.
As a working adult, granted I'm not working right now, but I definitely knew the pain when I was a working adult. Like, you can't just request days off whenever. It requires so much planning. You have
I know.
calculations like, okay, can I take this off now and work the next like 6 months straight? Like, you didn't have to do that when you were not even a kid, even when we were in college, because we just had built-in vacation time.
Yeah, yeah.
Every year.
And the most we had to worry about was summer reading.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
It's
I
like
Funny
a
used
what
to
you talk
complain
about.
about all the
I'm
work
still
we
in, like,
got, but
summer
that was not work.
Kemp, he hasn't gotten a job. I'm still on summer break, dude. Don't worry. It's
I'm
the middle
still
of
on
October.
summer
Still on
break,
summer
guys.
break, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that also brings up the point, summer break, winter break. For me, I work for a pearl company, right? So a jewelry company, and right now,
Bling bling, bro.
so for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the holidays coming up, 40% of our entire year's our annual income for the company comes in November and December alone. So honestly, I'm
Oh,
kind of
God.
scared. I'm kind of scared for like that kind of rush. Like it's not a winter break, it's a winter rush. And I think that's like, I haven't worked a real job or in like retail or anything like that. So this is kind of like scary for me.
Yeah, any kind of retail business.
Yeah. And
Holidays suck.
I think also with that adulting, um, in terms of winter as well, is getting gifts for your friends and family
Oh yeah.
as a
like,
transition. Yeah.
You have
Like-
to go to like holiday parties and you have extra work.
Yeah, dude. As a kid, all I had to worry about growing up was, do I have cookies and milk for Santa, dude?
Mm.
It's, did I get my Christmas wish list to my parents in time? Like,
Yeah,
Versus
dude.
deadlines on actual things.
Yeah, it's like, oh crap, did I buy a gift for this person? Did I be good? I mean, like, I sort of had to do that while I was in college because it's like, oh yeah, I can get some people some things if I had some extra money or extra gifts lying around. Like Kemp, I know I gave you a free Circle K shirt because that was my thing, but because I was in charge of that. But for me, it was like, crap. I don't have enough free stuff to give away, or I don't have enough money to buy everyone nice gifts. You know what I mean? Now I have a job. I'm like, sure, I don't think it's a problem now, but beforehand, I didn't have to worry about this issue to begin
Yeah.
with. So, and anyone want to add on that, or you want to go into our next like sub question?
No, I just had a funny thought. I mean, we went from drinking Capri Suns, Gatorades to drinking Jameson and Hennessy.
I still
Hey.
drink Gatorade sometimes.
No, man.
It was
Oh,
just
my
there.
God.
So you're telling me I can't drink Capri Sun anymore, dude?
Oh, bro. Oh, my bad. You know what? Stay away. You're right.
Nah,
They
dude.
put,
You're
they
right.
put Capri Sun in like some alcoholic drinks, right?
Oh my goodness.
Nah, dude. Freaking. Oh man. Freaking. Give me that young bagged milk, fam.
Oh.
Where's my milk in the
Young
bag,
Ellen
dude?
USD.
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, this is gonna be off on a tangent, but like, my mind was blown. Like in elementary school, the first day we had chocolate milk in a bag, dude. We only had regular white milk, and once
I
we had,
liked it.
That's really good.
and then we had
I
chocolate
thought it
milk.
was so fun.
Yeah, dude, I was like, holy crap, freaking A. That's crazy. But yeah, all right. So let's just transition into our sub question of the second part. What are some things that you could wish you could still do now that might be looked down upon, like since you're an adult? You know what I mean? It's like watching waking up early on a Saturday morning to watch Saturday cartoons. I don't know if they still do that. First, or like going into a bounce house at a kid's birthday party.
Heck, I still do that, man.
No,
I can
exactly.
still do that.
Same.
No, I know
Hey,
you still
man.
do. I know you
Kids can't
still
hop
do
on the-
that.
What?
I know you still do that, but it's like,
No shame.
is there a certain point where it's either looked down upon or people look down upon you for doing so? You know what I mean? In certain situations.
Man, I think that's part of adulting, though, not caring what other people think and just do what you want.
Exactly.
Like, who cares?
I agree.
Who
Yeah.
cares? In my opinion, if you want to go in that bouncy house and just tip it over like we used to when we were kids, while there are kids in there, then by all means. as long as
While
you're
there's kids in
safe.
there, you're a savage,
And
dude.
it's like you're not hurting anyone.
You're gonna
As long as
hurt
not
someone.
everybody, but let's be real, man. They're sturdy as hell.
That's true. That's true. All
I
right.
feel like the other good thing about being an adult is that if you do something that's meant for kids and there's kids around, people just think you're an adult that loves kids,
Or a pedo.
right?
Or-
No, well, okay, I guess if you're a dude, it might come off that way. But
It's okay in family parties, right?
Context. It
Contact.
depends
There you
on
go.
the
Family
situation.
parties is fine. Family parties
There
is
you
fine.
go.
Family
You just
parties.
randomly show up at some kid's party. Can I go in your gym house?
Just real quick.
Pop
Just
in there
real-
like Kool-Aid Man or something.
Oh yeah. Nah, dude. I think you're right.
nice party you're having here.
I think that's also true. Like we said, owning up to it. Freaking, how many people have you seen do the Naruto run? Have you guys seen those videos of Naruto runs around
man,
the country?
Naruto runs? Oh my goodness.
Or scream like
it's my dream
Goku?
to be-
I actually think that's pretty dumb. I've seen it like all over
Would you do it?
Reddit and shit, but like I think it's pretty dumb that people try to do that.
Would you do it? If given the
Yeah, I probably
opportunity?
would, but I think it's dumb. Like, I
Nah.
think it's dumb, but I'd probably do it too.
Bro, I was part of the 2016 golden age of Pokemon Go. Okay, that summer, man, I was all
Oh,
over
man.
that.
Okay, hold on.
God.
Everybody did
Don't-
that
don't-
one.
Don't remind me of that.
What makes you think I won't be part of a Naruto run? I'm just saying. What more a Goku? Oh my
Like I just think it's so dumb that people like try to like make a big deal out of it when like you just do it. What
No,
do you
see,
gotta
that's
say?
fair. I think that's the point. What I'm saying, it's like, is it a point? Do you make a point to look down upon it versus just doing it, versus what other people think? You know what I mean?
I mean, context again. If you're doing a Naruto run in the middle of a funeral, then
Oh my God, that's
Well.
oh my goodness.
then
Oh,
you know that's how you know it's wrong. You know.
I think that's fair. That's fair. Context is always very important. So, all right. So, transition to another part, the question that that I brought up in our notes. How do you compare our generation versus other generations, whether before us or after us or the kids growing up now? how do you see it? Because I already talked about like political social views, right? It's like we're already teaching our kids not to say these like the bad words we grew up using, gay or retarded, right? As examples versus California, we gotta have freaking non-binary as a third gender. I think that's so big for some kids growing up. You know what I mean? What are
Well,
yeah? Go ahead.
I think California is an awkward position when it comes to kids. There's just so many things to look out for. It's just like anything could be what's that called? Could be deemed like offensive,
Oh yeah.
and it's just like no one's like afraid to just call out other people for it.
Right.
Francis or Janice? Is Janice here, or and I can't hear her again?
No, I'm just thinking.
Comparing. Oh, go ahead.
Wait, is Janice speaking?
Yeah.
Damn it! Hold on, I need to refresh. I can't hear, dude. All right, is she here? All right, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, sorry, I was like literally coming in and out really, really fast in
Okay,
the
all right,
channel.
go
Wait,
ahead.
what did you guys say? What did I say?
I didn't know what
Like,
you
what did you
said.
hear me say?
I heard nothing.
You said there was something that
I
you
heard
really
you guys
liked.
talking about. I heard you guys talking about how like everyone's really careful with their words these days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we're like
And
comparing
I
our.
was saying that I kind of like that.
Uh huh.
Mhm. Why?
I think well, first of all, I also double majored in Asian American Studies,
Nice.
so as like an ethnic studies major, I did a lot of like research on stuff like racism, sexism, and kind of how language impacts groups of people in our community and how our use of language feeds into the ideas that people have of each other.
Right.
Because I was also a comm major. So I feel like our kids are going to be so much smarter and more woke, quote unquote, than we are. They're going to be so much nicer as human beings, I feel like.
Oh,
Because
I don't know about that one.
I feel like it's true because I'm also, my dad is a pastor. He has a church, so I'm a Sunday school teacher too. And the kids
Nice.
that I teach in my class, we have kids who are from elementary school up into high school, and they're so much more um, considerate than the kids I remember being around when I was their age. Like if they say a word, and you actually tell them, hey, you shouldn't really say that. Like, do you even know what that means? Then they'll actually listen to you and be like, oh no, why? Like, or sometimes they'll even tell me, like I'll be like, before I can call them out, someone else will call them out, like one of the other kids, and I'll be like, damn, you guys already know this? Shoot, I didn't learn this stuff till I was in college. Like,
Right.
I had to pay for this information.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
fair.
Like,
I think, but all right. To be
I
fair,
think it's kind of interesting.
to be fair, just to play devil's advocate, not that I've experienced this myself or that I actually know, but I think this happens in certain areas. You know what I mean? It's like we're in California and we live along the coast. That's some of the most progressive areas you can find in our country, along
True.
either coastline, west or east.
Ooh,
You go to the middle of the country, I guarantee you, in some parts of any city, it's gonna be the exact opposite. It's like people are still gonna be
show
saying
me
the
that
same slander.
geography knowledge.
Yeah, dude. No, I took an entire semester on a course studying strictly California politics and demographics. Like like our state as a government sucks. Cuz we're so damn big of a state, we can be considered our own country. That's
No
why
way. Are you serious?
yeah, dude, like that's why I don't know if you remember this from like years ago, not too far, but a couple years ago, I'd say like 5 or so, that there was this article going around, this petition or whatever, to split California into 6 different Californias.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we even talked about that in class. It's like the reason why that the petition got brought up is because theoretically, it's possible to do so. Theoretically, but financially, economically, like socially, it'd be okay. Financially, politically, and economically, it would not work out. But socially and demographically, it would be fine. But I think that's the part. Like you go the further away you go from a coast or from a metropolitan area, that's why I say the opposite could potentially be happening. You know what I mean? They're not watching their
Right,
language.
right.
They're not promoting progressive speech versus they're still promoting, negative hate speech, racial slurs, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think that's also just
Yeah.
another part to just look at it. We're California. If you live along the coast or you just live in the state yourself and you're, pretty or a university area, like we live in a bubble. I think that's a very big thing to point out. And, for kids growing up, I think that's really important. Oh shit. Wait, did I DC? Oh crap. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
And
Man, he was going off too.
Oh, there
yeah,
he
he's
is.
going
All
on.
right,
There he
sorry.
is.
I
There we
don't I
go.
don't know what happened, but what was the last thing I said? I'm sorry I disconnected on the
Coast,
stream.
you're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about your coast and how people are different in
Yeah,
certain parts of California,
Oh, but I'm just like
which
saying
I had actually had no idea. So I'm just like learning all this.
yeah. Oh, but I was just saying like California, we're a bubble, dude. If you live along the coast or you live in like metropolitan or university city, you live in a
I mean,
bubble.
that's basically true for like the country as a whole.
Yeah.
I can
Like all the
definitely I can
conservative
definitely see
parts.
that. Yeah, yeah.
But I think that
Yeah.
like that going back versus a kid versus an adult, you know what I mean? It's like this is how these kids are going to be grown up. You know what I mean? These are how the kids are going to be growing up. This is their childhood, their teenage years, whatever. They're what's that word? Tweens. Oh, I hate that word so
Oh my
much.
god.
Why? It's cute. It's a
No,
cute
it's
word.
not. That's not cute. Why is that word considered cute?
Tweet.
That's
Tween.
cute.
Ew. No.
Tween.
Whatever. That's
You
not
know,
besides the point. Besides the point.
but you know what? Kids and teenagers, I think they're actually smarter than they seem. They're learning from
Right. Yeah.
they're learning from our mistakes. Honestly,
Okay, that's fair. I think
Agree.
that's true.
I have a sister. She's 10 years younger than me, and I always talk about how was school. How she's a freshman in high school now, and I always ask her, so how school? Is there like a lot of bullies going on? Because when I was in high school, I went to
Oh.
oh man, I was at this LAUSD, this ghetto kid going into a private school, and I legit had no friends. Right, like everyone knew each other from like kindergarten to ninth grade, and I was just that one kid that was just there. And now it's different. Like, my sister's like, oh yeah, there are kids that we don't know, and we're actually going out and trying to introduce ourselves. Like I guess my old high school opened up a foreign exchange student program, and everyone apparently is like really nice to each other now. And I feel like our generation would do a lot of like bullying, cyberbullying. We did a lot of like drugs and all that stuff. It's like they learn from our mistakes. That's what at least from what I observed. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like every generation just gets better than the one that just preceded them. So
I think yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
social media plays a really huge part in that too,
yeah,
because no matter where you're located, most people by now have access to the internet and
yeah,
have access to places like Twitter.
Mhm.
So I feel like the spread of ideas is a lot easier these
true.
days, and it's a
Mm.
lot easier to educate yourself online.
Or not
It's also
truly
easier
educate
to
yourself to with
fall
fake
into fake
news.
news online,
Fake
but
news.
But that's the thing, like there's a lot of fake news out there. So I think
I
I
hate
think
that.
I hate
I
that too.
fucking hate that.
Oh my god, it's horrible. So I think that's the struggle of not only our generation but the next generation, which I think they're gonna have to fight information overload. They have to
Okay,
like
see,
filter out.
exactly. I think that's what like I don't know if you guys watched last week's podcast, but I think that's what we talked about not last week, the last episode, right? Kemp, it's like we're so fed up with information that we get desensitized to it. I think that might also
Yeah,
be another thing to it. The
like
overload
uh,
information is
like
we're getting desensitized to what's happening in our surroundings to a certain degree.
yeah, like on social media, it's like take Twitter for example. I think
Oof.
like generally in the future, I think people will think it's normal when someone just gets like torn apart on Twitter just because they say something.
Hmm.
Oh, I can gladly say I don't use Twitter, so I wouldn't know.
I guess. I think it would still depend on what they say, because it's like
I mean,
people get so passionate over things
yeah,
online.
that's the
Yeah,
thing. It's just
sure.
It's like either side.
yeah, if there's enough people with like a rebuttal and they don't think they're correct, like they're just gonna start something. I don't think Twitter is the correct place for that, but
God.
that's the day and age we live in.
Yeah, dude, look at our fucking president, dude. Fucking tweets about literally everything. Oh my god, dude. Are you kidding me? This is the day and age. You're right. This is the day and age we live in, dude. Everyone's technically have or more or less has access to a Twitter and internet. That's dumb.
Yeah, Twitter,
All right.
Facebook, whatever the next big thing is.
I think that was what up, Catherine? What up? No swearing. No, I said there's swearing on the podcast. All right, so I just said there's no loud eating. She did that once. All right, so I think another thing that, in comparison, we were talking about adulting, but is like we said, how kids grow up, but the technology that we have to bring up kids as well is another aspect. You know what I mean? Like, we have all these different types of medicines and technologies to help bring up a baby versus so like parents, right, will give like their kid like an iPad or their phone to play games, and that will like impact how they grow up. We didn't like growing up as a like quote unquote 90s kid, right? We just had all these toys. The closest thing we had was what? A Tamagotchi? A Game Boy or something, dude?
Yeah.
That was the closest thing we had. You guys ever played that? You ever played that game with the rings in the water and you have to use the bubbles to get it on the spike?
Loki was addicting.
Hell yeah. All right, Kat. No worries. I'm not attacking you. I'm just joking. We're friends. We're memeing.
You're triggering your audience.
She loves Tamagotchis, so it worked out. So now we talked about our past and we've gone a little over the hour mark. Let's talk about, I don't know if this will be the last section, but the future, what we have planned, moving on, how like we plan to grow in the future, moving on with our lives, what we plan to do in the near or distant future, whether it's our career, buying what kind of car we have down the line, or traveling, vacations, like what Peach said, if you have a job, like how do you already have a plan on which days you want to take off? If you want to have kids, if like I said, what would you name them? If you have names, I actually do. No, I'd like legit. I thought about this.
Neiron, you picked out your baby's names already?
No, okay, no. All right, hold on, time out. Let me put some context to that.
Congrats, dude.
He's your devoted uncle.
What is your waifu?
He's practicing.
No. All right.
Yeah, do you have what's your baby?
No, all right. So let me give context. Let me give context.
Oh, no.
So, I was, back in high school or whatever.
Here we go.
Back in short story. Back in high school, me and my friends, we would always joke around and be like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" It's like, what are you gonna do with your life, whatever. And then we would somehow get into the topic of how many kids you would have, right? Or like if you did, what would you name them? And I thought about this. I was like, I legit thought about this. What would I name my kids? So I only thought about, to be fair, what I would if I had a son. I would figure out the names for my sons. If I had a daughter, that's not on me. That's not on me. So for me,
no
it's
input.
No, not no input. I'll put in input, but all right, so I'm not gonna say. All right, hold on. So I'm not saying the input. There's no input, but I'm saying that I would fight for my sons having these specific names.
Okay.
So, because traditionally, on my dad's side of the family, especially, all the guys' names start with N, and then sometimes they would more or less have a meaning to it. My name is Neiron because the first half of my name Nay was my dad's nickname, and then the second half Ron came from my mom's name Rosa, so Ro, so it became Neiron.
Nice.
Yeah, so I want to start that. So no, I was originally gonna be called Nathan, but instead of N-A-T, it'd be N-E-I-T. But they wanted Nay because N-E-I is pronounced A, right?
Wow. All right. Okay.
All right. So what up, Emmanuel? Welcome to the stream. But so yeah, I know what I would name at least my first son, and I was gonna.
What are you gonna name him?
My first son would be named Neo, N-E-O.
Neo.
Yeah, like from the Matrix,
Like in
dude.
the Matrix?
From the Matrix. Everyone says that, like the Matrix. I'm like, yeah, dude. To be fair, my gaming name is Neon. I would take, but Neo also means new, dude. New, like that has meaning to it, you know. So.
I'm inspired. I'm gonna name my daughter Peach.
Hey, that's a real name. Do it. You do you. That's why I say I currently have no input on what I would name my daughters because I don't have a girlfriend and fiance. I'm not married, so I wouldn't know what I would name my daughter. So I have no idea.
So you're gonna let your
I'm gonna
your
wait. I'm gonna wait.
partner name your daughters, and you're gonna take the sons.
If she,
Is that
if
what
she,
you were
if
saying?
Oh,
Yes.
come on, man.
no, but it's
Bro.
like like oh, hold on.
Come on.
Also, as
What if you only have
as
boys?
context. We're Filipino. We like to add second names.
That's
Oh,
true.
Dude, like all of my nieces and nephews,
Wow, you're
they
gonna give
all
her the
have.
second name.
It's like 2 first names.
Yeah, it's 2
27,
first names,
alright?
but like
You're gonna
literally
put
all
a
my
lot of
nieces and
names up.
nephews have a second first name. I'm not saying that I would do that, but if it comes down to it, I'm willing to compromise with that. That's fine.
You know,
I'm saying now. I think a lot of names go well with Neo.
Yes, see, Neo. Just think about it, dude. Like you could throw in some freaking French name in there, and be like it would translate into new something.
and
Like,
he's
He
gonna
would
grow up-
sound really cool, but I don't know. It'd be kind of questionable.
Well,
he's gonna grow
what?
up singing R&B. I'm just saying. Like, he's like, Dad, I'm just so sick.
That's
I'm
so.
just so sick.
He's gonna come out the
Oh
womb
my
wearing a
God.
fedora.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, where did that fedora? Where'd it come from? Oh, that's your mom's placenta.
all right.
Jesus is
We're gonna go off topic. So yeah, Kat and
You know what?
Emmanuel.
I can add to that. I'm gonna name my kid, my son. All right, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so you already know where I'm going with this.
Jar Jar Binks.
non-negotiable.
Jar Jar Binks.
This is
Jar Jar
not-
Binks.
No, what the hell? Jar Jar Binks? Do you want me to like make fun of my kid? Do you want me to like neglect my kid? I will neglect him if he's named Jar Jar.
All right. Go ahead.
It'll make him strong.
His name will be Luke, and just so
Fucking knew it.
if he pisses me off, I'll be like, nope, I'm your father. You freaking listen to me.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Wait. Are you
No.
gonna cut off
That
his
is
hand, dude?
non-negotiable. It's very,
You're never gonna be mad at him.
never. But at the same time, I'm Darth fucking Vader.
All right, so we
That's
got.
the also thing. Sorry.
Dude,
Anyway.
Don't worry.
You're never gonna be mad at him 'cause he's gonna do something. You're gonna be like, Luke, I am your ha 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 ha. Like,
You can't take yourself
In my head,
seriously.
In my head.
you're
And you
just
know
gonna
what?
start laughing.
It's totally doable too. I can be like, if my wife is like, pretty religious, because I'm pretty religious as well. I can be like, you know what? This is named after one of the guys in the Gospels. It's pretty.
Wow,
pretty
what
good
an
name.
excuse, dude. What an
Hey,
excuse.
You're gonna have a talk with your son.
Yeah, you're gonna be like-
This is what you're actually.
No, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, his first name is Luke. It comes from the Bible, dude. But his second name has to be Skywalker. It's also in the Bible,
Oh.
dude.
You do know this. That is already his
Oh
his
my
middle
God.
name. Well done.
All right.
You could actually give him Sky as his second name, though. Like,
Exactly.
Luke Sky.
Nice.
Luke Sky, and then you can give it like if he becomes a gamer, just call him Walker, dude. Hi,
Oh
my
my
name is
God,
Luke
it's over.
Sky Walker de Guzman.
It's over, man.
Dude.
That's it.
All right, so we
If my
got.
son ever hears this podcast, go to sleep. It's past your bedtime, Luke. I'm your father. Listen to me.
All right, so we have Emmanuel in
That's
the.
how every.
Oh, go ahead.
That's how every argument would go.
I'm your father. You're gonna piss him off. He's gonna go no. No.
No, and then when he's older, he's like, Dad, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
You're gonna be.
Nope.
Oh.
No.
Dude, there's gonna be by that time it's gonna be like Star Wars 12, dude.
Hey, I'm
Star
just
Wars
saying, this next
15?
movie better not disappoint.
All right. So we have Emmanuel in the chat. He said, name your son Genji. Genji, you're grounded. He said, I can be your girl, and then he combines our names, neonatal from what? From Emmanuel and Neon. So, all right.
Oh my god.
He wants to make a Luke with y'all.
Name your kid Nutella.
Oh my god. All right, so I don't know, Kemp or Peach, if you want to talk about having children or whatever's in your future of being an adult, go ahead.
Not even close. What I think is I remember those times when having a kid in your like early 20s was a thing, and I was like, I think about it now, and it's like, nope, that can't be a thing anymore.
Oh my god, yes.
That's fair.
When I was 18, I used to be like, I'm gonna have my first kid when I'm 27, and I'm 26 now. And I'm gonna tell you, that's not gonna happen.
Nope. Yeah.
Like,
Whoa.
not.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, exactly. And this attitude is going nowhere.
Hey, kids are expensive as F, alright? Holy crap.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
I don't want to screw up while I'm raising a whole other human. Like, I
Yeah.
want to do it right. You
Also,
know?
taking care of a child is extremely difficult, time-consuming. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't even take care of a dog right now.
I can take care of myself, man.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I think we all learned here that we can't take care of. We can't
Hashtag
take care of
adulting.
things. Adulting is hard.
Adulting is hard. That child is not a mistake, but the
Thanks.
decisions. Oh my god.
So
All
we can
right.
barely handle our internet connections right now.
Same, two of us be disconnecting.
Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to talk about your future? Oh my god. I don't know. Eventually, I wish to make a nice figure salary. That's just a general
Bro,
thing.
It'll happen. It'll happen, bro.
Yeah, I think that goes for all of us, right?
Yeah.
I think that's all of us, yeah.
Hey, that's what's up.
Same.
To make more doing less. That's the dream.
Yeah, climbing up that corporate ladder, baby. Getting the ultimate gaming computer. I'm gonna hire an editor, dude. For my YouTube channel. That's what's up. No, but really. I don't know. I don't have much else to say.
I'm
Do
gonna
you guys?
make a girl cave.
A girl cave.
Ooh, no, finding a house is hard. Are you kidding me?
What's in a girl cave? That's what I'm curious. That's what I'm thinking about.
Actually, yeah. What is a girl cave?
Well, my girl cave is gonna have a beastly gaming PC setup
Nice.
and all of the consoles
Respectable.
and a big ass flat screen TV that takes up you know what? I'll have a projector in there.
Yeah, there you go. I was thinking
For movie nights.
You know, why be conservative? Go all out.
No, you gotta be like what was it? How I Met Your Mother?
And a mini fridge for snacks. And
Why
a little
stop at a
bar,
mini fridge?
mini
Just get a
bar.
full fridge.
Where we get a full fridge?
Yeah, get a full
exactly. I'll
fridge.
just
Why
have
do you
full
stop at a
size
mini
fridge.
fridge? What the hell?
Have a popcorn machine.
Jesus Christ! I want to
Just
come
make your own
over.
Costco. Buy your own.
Build a tunnel to my house.
Jesus, what is this, Minecraft? Oh my god,
All of a
dude.
sudden-
Starbound.
Oh my god. Check out my video, Starp on YouTube. What's up? But yeah, dude. That is also a goal. Just have just a dedicated gaming room. That'd be so fun.
Hell yes.
Why stop at a dedicated gaming room?
Dedicated
when
gaming
there's
house.
I
Teslas
really
out
want
there?
a gaming
There are
room.
Teslas out there. You can have a gaming car. Think about it. Like just drive around.
Gaming
everywhere.
house.
A gaming
Gaming-
car. You're funny, dude.
Like think about it. Teslas. That's my dream car. A Tesla. Okay.
That's
they can
fair.
drive themselves. Right.
Like a
And
limo.
Yeah. You know what? They drive themselves.
Oh, like a
I could just
Tesla?
jam in the
A
back.
self-driving Tesla.
Yeah, so you can play Pokemon Go while you're in the car.
Exactly. You're thinking ahead, bro. There
Of
it
course,
is.
dude. Of course. All right. So, with that said, it's already 10 p.m. on this podcast. We've been at it for a good hour 16, not including or hour 15, not including the disconnect. So, I don't know. Do you guys have any final thoughts about what to say about adulting? Anything final? Not final. Yeah, final thoughts. Yeah. couple sentences.
It's hard. We're getting there.
A.
Baby steps.
All right,
Yeah.
Francis.
Yeah, baby steps. You know what? It's taking it day by day and being tenacious about it, just like Janice was with her connection. Just be tenacious. That's the key word.
Never give up, guys.
Never give up.
Naruto.
Never gonna give.
Never give up. That's my ninja way, dude. I'm gonna become Hokage.
Never-
We're all
never
gonna become
give up.
Hokages, dude. All right, Janice, what's your final thoughts?
On adulting,
Just anything we talked
quite
about.
like it.
You
Quite
like
like
it?
In some, I really enjoy being an adult. I think it's actually way more fun than being a kid.
That's fair.
True.
I don't know, maybe that's just me. I think it's really fun, even with all the extra responsibility. I don't
can
really
agree
mind
with that.
responsibility.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And this was a good talk. Thanks for inviting us to join you
Oh yeah, thanks, bro.
on your
Yeah,
podcast.
man. I'm glad you two were able to make it, and I loved your input. It was great. It was great.
Bro, yeah, this is actually really good. I have to admit.
Yeah.
Coming home from a 12-hour shift, just talking about
Damn.
adulting.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
stuff.
If you
That
two
nursing
ever,
life.
if you two or anyone else watching wants to join on a future podcast, there is a link, tinyurl.com/Neurons podcast interest form. Sign up, get your topics, and if you want to just submit topics and or just be on the podcast, use that link. Once again, tinyurl.com/Neurons interest form, no punctuations. So with that said, I'd like to thank everyone coming on this podcast, Kemp, Francis, and Janice. Thank you once again. With that said, if you have any other questions for us, put it in the comments on the Facebook Live, or if you're watching on Facebook, in the comment section below. With that said, thanks for watching, and if you're becoming an adult like us, baby steps. It's okay to make mistakes. All right. Thanks.
Don't ask us for advice.
Ask Janice. Ask Janice. Janice is great. Ask Janice.
Ask Janice. Just go to her.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.